And I think even from that experience, the next chapter is places that we go when our heart is open. I was very adamant about being able to still keep an open heart because I am a lover girl at heart. I still believe in love and being in love and just living a life with someone that you want to be your life partner and spend eternity with. I still believe in the fairy tale, and I really wanted to make sure that even after my divorce, I didn't feel like that wasn't a possibility for me. I wanted to still believe in love, and I still wanted to believe that someone can fall in love with me and that it can work out. And when it comes to love, I think it says here, we cultivate love when we allow our most vulnerable and powerful selves to be deeply seen and known. And when we honor the spiritual connection that grows from that offering with trust, respect, kindness, and affection. Love is not something we give or get. It is something that we nurture and grow. A connection that we can cultivate between two people only when it exists within each one of them. We can love others only as much as we love ourselves. Shame, blame, and disrespect, betrayal, and the withholding of affection damages the roots from which love grows. Love can survive these injuries only if they're acknowledged, healed, and rare. And I think even in my marriage and even in my 4-year situationship, there was a lot of that. I think there was a lot of blame, a lot of disrespect. A lot of guilt. And I think in my marriage, there was definitely a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, a lot of disrespect at times that created those roots to wither away because there wasn't that trust. And again, like she said, these injuries can only survive if they're acknowledged, healed, and rare. And it got to a point that they weren't rare. And it got to a point that we just didn't see eye to eye and could acknowledge each other's pain just because that's not where we were supposed to be. So it's funny how when she talks about the brokenhearted, and it says that they are the bravest amongst us because they dare to love. And I regret nothing. I don't regret my marriage. I learned so much. And even in my 4-year situationship, I don't regret that either because I learned so much too. When it came to heartbreak, and when we think of heartbreak, it's like, oh my gosh, someone broke my heart. And the researcher says, I learned that heartbreak is more than just a painful type of disappointment or failure. It hurts in a different way because the heartbreak is always connected to love and belonging. And one of the definitions here, it says, heartbreak is what happens when love is lost. And I think for the longest time with my situationship, it was hard for me because now looking at this definition of heartbreak, it was never a heartbreak in a sense because there was never any love lost. Because I still love him to pieces. I would do anything for that man. Almost anything, I should say. But there's still definitely a lot of love there. There's a lot of love. So when I think of even that relationship, I'm trying to pinpoint my feelings, right? So I'm not heartbroken because there's not any love lost. The love is still there, and I think that's what makes it harder, and that's what has made it harder to walk away. When we talk about love, we add a lot of things into that. And one of the things that we talk about in this section, when we open our hearts, the place that we go to when we open our hearts is trust. And I think with love comes trust. And she has a couple of things here. And love is boundaries. You respect my boundaries, and when you're not clear about what's okay and not okay, you ask. You're willing to say no. Reliability. You do what you say and you do it. My partner, even though we were never in an official relationship, our partnership, I could count on him for anything, and he knew that he could count on me for anything. And we really literally acted like a married couple because we literally had each other's back. Accountability, we owned our mistakes and apologized and made amends right then and there. Vault, you don't share information or experience that are not yours to share. We definitely protected each other's secrets, and we're able to be just vulnerable with our life experiences with each other. Integrity, You chose courage over comfort every time. We would get out of our comfort zones and learn from each other and just be like, hey, like I didn't like this, or vice versa. We were non-judgmental. We created a space that we could talk to each other. We had generosity with one another. Whenever I would see that he needed something from me or I needed something from him, there was just all of these different things that included in this love and this chemistry and this bond that we created with one another. And when we go to the next feeling or emotion, it's betrayal. And I think because I still wake up to this day sometimes and I'm like, I can't believe he did that to me. Like, I cannot believe that happened. I'm shooketh. Still shooketh to this day. And it was like 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago. Still shooketh to my core. And the feeling is betrayal. Betrayal is so painful because at its core, it's a violation of trust. That's where I can pinpoint my emotion. I feel betrayed. I feel betrayed from a person that I gave so much trust and worthiness and just reliability and accountability, and we had all this trust. Specifically, I trusted you, and just how things went down, and just of what happened, I definitely felt betrayed. And till this day, I'm still like, oh my gosh. For the longest time, I just thought like, you broke my heart. And getting into this emotions, it's like, there's a quote that says, I'm not sure there's a braver sentence in the human catalog of brave sentences than my feelings are hurt. It's simple, vulnerable, and honest. But we don't say it very often. We get pissed off, or we hurt back, or we internalize the hurt until we believe we deserve it and that something is wrong with us. I definitely went through that spiral. But rarely do we say, this really hurt my feelings. And I felt betrayed, and that really hurt my feelings. Even 2 years later. And even though I forgave, I didn't forget. And it still haunts me sometimes. But we just have to be honest with ourselves. My feelings were hurt. Yeah, they were hurt. And even through all of that, I still believe it is better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. And now let's go into a place that we go to when we're feeling good. When we're feeling good, I feel like, of course, the emotions that pop out at us are joy and happiness. If you guys are enjoying this kind of content, make sure you watch the full video right over here. Thank you so much. I love you guys, and I'll catch you guys here. Ciao.